All right, leaders, let's get straight to it. This briefing is about a critical governance issue that's hitting every single organization in Nigeria's digital economy, and that's AI accountability.
Let's just start with this foundational truth because it really sets the stage. Without real, tangible consequences, all our talk about ethical principles is nothing more than a marketing slogan. It's the kind of thing that looks great on a website, right? But it protects absolutely no one.
So let's dive right into the core of the problem. Right now, we are treating AI ethics like it's an optional suggestion when it absolutely needs to be a mandatory protection.
As leaders, you're facing a very clear choice. Is your approach to AI ethics just going to be a moral suggestion? Something optional, symbolic, and ultimately toothless? Or are you going to provide tangible, enforceable protection for citizens? Protection that actually carries real legal weight?
And here's the hard truth. The responsibility for ethical outcomes doesn't lie with the technology. It lies squarely with you, with governance and with enforcement. Let's be clear. We cannot code our way out of a leadership deficit.
Okay, so now I want you to shift your perspective for a minute. Let's reframe this from the point of view of the people who are actually harmed. Because when things go wrong, the questions they ask reveal the true nature of liability, and they expose where the responsibility really lies.
When a person is denied a loan unfairly or discriminated against by a machine, they don't ask about the algorithm's complexity. They don't care about the elegance of the code. Their questions are much, much more direct.
They ask three simple but incredibly powerful questions, and these questions point directly back to governance and human oversight. First, who approved this system? Second, who regulated its use? And third, and this is the big one, who is accountable for the harm it caused me?
And I want to be crystal clear here. These are not technical questions at all. They're questions about your internal processes, about human oversight, and about who signed off on the decision. The answers to these questions are what determine legal responsibility and what will ultimately define your corporate liability. The good news is we don't have to guess what happens next. We have a perfect, very recent precedent right here in Nigeria that gives us a clear roadmap for turning policy into practice. I'm talking about our journey with data protection.
We all saw this shift happen. Before the NDPR enforcement had real teeth, let's be honest, data breaches were almost normalized. Accountability was fuzzy, it was diffused. But the moment those penalties became real, corporate behavior changed, and it changed almost overnight.
And that right there is the lesson. It's a huge warning sign for this new era of AI. A rule without a consequence isn't really a rule, it's just a suggestion. And we all know that suggestions are very easily ignored.
So, this all leads us to a critical reframing of the problem itself. We have to stop seeing AI failures as purely technological issues. We have got to stop viewing AI-driven harm as some mere technical glitch. We have to recognize it for what it truly is, a failure of governance. The problem starts in the boardroom, not in the code. Accountability has to be baked in from the very beginning. Think about it. If you can't point to a single person or a specific department that's responsible when your AI causes harm, then your system is fundamentally unethical, by design. It doesn't matter how well it performs. And let's get one thing straight. Making AI ethics enforceable isn't some barrier to progress. It's the exact opposite. It's a strategic alignment with our national goals. And frankly, it's the only way we're going to build a sustainable digital future. In fact, enforceable ethics directly fuels the core pillars of Nigeria's national digital economy policy. We're talking about trust, citizen rights, responsible innovation, and security. These aren't just buzzwords on a policy document. They are completely and totally intertwined with enforceable ethics.
So I want you to make no mistake about this. The erosion of trust caused by unaccountable AI is a direct threat to the future of our digital economy. Ethics isn't some separate department. It's the very bedrock of sustainable, trusted growth.
Okay, let's bring this all home. I want to leave you with a direct challenge, a non-negotiable next step for every single leader listening to this right now. I want you to really think about this question. Should an ethical violation by an AI system be treated with the exact same seriousness as a major cybersecurity incident or a data protection breach here in Nigeria? There's no middle ground here. Your answer defines your entire approach to risk and responsibility. Either the harm matters or it doesn't. Because doing nothing, that's not a neutral position. It is an active decision. It's a decision to transfer the cost of your failures onto your customers and onto the public. A price will be paid for unethical AI. The only question leadership gets to decide is who pays it.
Look, the time for discussion is over. The immediate, urgent imperative is to assign clear ownership for your AI accountability framework and to start building it today. Leadership owns outcomes. Your task, starting right now, is to ensure you own this one.